So how's the video editing been, by the way?
And that it's not bad. Putting on the new titles and stuff like that was something new for me to learn, but
Yeah.
that program, the Filmora, just makes it dummy proof.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's why I love
easy.
Filmora.
Just slide things into place and go from there. But
Yep, exactly. I've been doing a lot of cutting with my last video. I'm really far behind. I really, that's the thing. I need to just sit down, take one big old session, and just straight up work on as much editing as I possibly can. Just
Right.
like a few hours worth.
yeah,
Finished up the video. It's like that, getting the. I think part of it is the motivation that I kind of need to build up
right.
for every video. And I'm pretty sure you've experienced that too, where it's like you have motivation fall off, and it's just like you're hitting a brick wall. You want to do something with the video, and then you're like, "Well, is that going to work, or is that not going to work?"
I don't even have my video planned for this week, and I'm supposed to be posting it tomorrow.
Cat. Sorry,
That's
I got
fine.
distracted.
Hold on. Oh. I got dog too.
Oh yeah.
She's literally laying in my lap. She's not a lap dog. She's laying in my lap. I got the cat over there. I got another one sitting over there, about to knock a bottle of hot sauce off the end table.
Oh god, no.
So yeah, fun.
I love the shirt, by the way, too. Just wanted to say that.
I don't think my wife might take it upstairs. We have a Bob Ross bobblehead. This used to be her work area when she worked at the radio station. This was her desk and everything. So I literally had to clear all of her stuff out of it so that I could use it for work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she had a Bob Ross bobblehead, and now I've got Baker Mayfield sitting on the desk instead.
I need to send you a Bob Ross video too, by the way.
Okay.
There's this one Bob Ross. Well, it's not really like, it's kind of like a parody sort of, but it's really funny and really well made.
Yeah.
Have you played Fallout 4?
Yes. That's actually the one I enjoy.
It is just a video that involves a Bob Ross in Fallout 4, and it goes like over an entire painting session, but it pops up with all these random props in the middle of it. There's completely over the top animation. It's great. It's great. You're gonna love it.
That sounds amazing. I do love my kids love Bob Ross. Like my oldest is 9, and we've sat down as a family and watched Bob Ross, like something from the late 70s, early 80s, and my kids are like, oh, they know Bob Ross. My daughter, every time I wear this shirt, she runs up to me. She's like, Daddy's got Bob Ross on.
So. I love Bob Ross, though. It's just, he was so wholesome. Yeah. He really was.
Yeah, he was one of the big ones. Him and Mr. Rogers and...
Exactly. Excuse me. Yeah, I really... I spent a good amount of time just sitting down watching that. I got a lot of inspiration from some of his paintings for my environmental design. There are certain paintings that he's just made that were just so imaginative, so perfect, that it's just like I had to translate some of that into my 3D modeling, as well as like my arc maps, which I've made in the past. So that was a lot of fun, just making that scenery, just kind of like mirroring it in a way to the Bob Ross paintings, and then jumping in and playing in those environments where all these dinosaurs, spawn.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it definitely was pretty awesome. Kind of like, it's my own version of his painting, because I can only go so far with.
So you just had happy little trees
art
everywhere?
Oh yeah, lots of happy little trees that I'm pretty sure many players have cut down by now.
Oh, you're not supposed to cut down the happy little tree, because then his friend won't have a buddy.
Happy little trees and happy little clouds.
Right. Oh my god. I love Bob Ross.
Yeah, I miss a lot of the old shows too. Like Oh man, one I was watching recently. I think I mentioned this before. Was Zorro?
Oh yeah.
Like the black and white version of Zorro.
Right.
I loved that show. I used to I used to fall asleep to like the old classic Disney stuff that came on at like I don't even know, it was like 10 to 4 a.m. in the morning.
They just had like this rerun block that they ran all the time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. God, that was a good time. I really, really enjoyed that. And you know, my parents hated that because like I would just stay up every night on a school night, just watching all those old shows, and then waking up in the morning going like, I have no idea what's going on.
But you could quote all the Zorro stuff.
Oh yeah, I could definitely do that. Yeah, there's some really. I just have all these amazing memories of like where Zorro is almost unmasked and.
Oh, he got close all the time. Like, and it was always ended on a cliffhanger, so you had to come back to the next episode to see if he got unmasked or not.
Yep, exactly. They always did that every time. Oh, God, what was it? Another? Oh yeah, the Mickey Mouse Club.
I was not a big, so I didn't have cable growing up. So I didn't have the Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse Club or anything like that. So, but, yeah. I mean, I know about it. I know, like the famous people that are still famous now that were in it back in the day, or the original people that were in it. I still remember. I know about that, but I never got to watch that when I was growing up.
Yeah, I just ended up stumbling upon it really because I think it was one night when I was just so. I had such a bad insomnia streak that I was playing with my Legos of all things in front of like the TV, and I just saw it on there, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. So I started watching episode after episode of just random shows, and that's where all that came up. I still remember, I think the theme song, but only a portion of it, where it's like MICKEYMOUSE.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Yep. Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember it's a word there.
Oh God, it is weird thinking about that because that was back in. I don't even know. I was really young though. I know that. It was over 20 years ago.
I was gonna say you had to have been really young at that point. I don't think it's been on for years.
Yeah.
Like many years.
Many, yeah.
Many years. I don't think it's been on for.
So weird thinking about that too, because it feels like just yesterday that I was like sitting there watching all those shows.
I know. I'm keep yawning today.
No, it's fine. It's like I mean, honestly, I'm kind of tired also. God.
Yeah. Well, we can bring it. We can move on to the next topic. So I actually got my second dose of the COVID vaccine yesterday, which is why I'm very wore out today. So, and I know you're pro COVID vaccine. So.
Yep.
At least we have a good agreement there. We don't have to argue.
Oh yeah.
I honestly don't understand people's reasoning on by. I have coworkers that I don't work with. I mean, I work directly with them, but like not in my office directly. That opted out. I mean, my agency was given the chance to have every single employee given the vaccine, and I mean, I think we had like an 84%, which is very good in comparison to the 40-something% that the U.S. is currently sitting at an acceptance rate. So we had like a really good. Why it wasn't 100%, I'll never know.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So the one guy said that he's like, I don't trust what's in it because I don't understand what's in it, and I said that's fine, but do your research and find out what's in it.
Yeah,
and he's like,
exactly.
He's like, I don't put things in my body that I don't put chemicals in my body. And then hold on. And then a couple days later, I go over and he's like, oh man, I'm all hungover. What? I literally looked at him and I said, I thought you didn't put chemicals in your body. He's like, I don't. I said, but alcohol. And he's like, it's different. I said, it's not different. I said, it's worse. I said, you're putting something in your body that you know is harming you.
Yeah.
Where you're not going to take the COVID vaccine, which could keep, and he's backtracked. He has backtracked. And because me and him talk about it, because he's somebody else like me. He has, he has his immunodeficiencies like I do.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. I said, dude, he's like, because I told him like how sick I got after my first dose. Everybody knows my first dose. For 2 days, about 2 days after I got my first dose, for about 2 days, I was violently ill, unable to get out of bed, almost wound up in the hospital from being overly dehydrated.
Oh,
thank
no.
God I was able the third morning able to wake up, and my wife ran to the gas station and picked me up enough Gatorade Zeros that I could just sit there and chug all day long, because that's the only thing that I was able to keep down. But he's like, well, you know how bad it was for you. He goes, I don't want to go through that. I said, okay, I'm going to take 2 days of things going bad, or I'm going to take the potential of being in the hospital for weeks on a ventilator and then maybe not coming home. I said, tell me which one's worse. I said, I said, even if I wound up in the hospital from being dehydrated for 3 days, whatever it was, like, because my hospital trips are always 3 days long. Like when I'm in the hospital, it's 3 days. It's 72 hours. They like to keep me. That's about it. I said, even if it was that, I said, it still would have been worth it. He's like, well, you're going to get the second shot. I said, 110%. I'm still getting the second shot. And I did, and I got it done. I got it done yesterday. Well, by the time, so it'll be Monday. But this will be coming out Friday for most people. So Monday. And you know what? I don't care. It could make me sick all at once, but I'll still be fine. I still, and there's still a risk, I like, this just makes me asymptomatic carrier, basically, is what it does. But that still means I could bring it home to my wife and kids who aren't going to get vaccinated anytime soon. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's still in the plans. They will get it once it's available to them. My wife, who is a huge needle phobe, is super excited. My kids who don't like to get vaccinations, period, are super excited. But they all understand. Like, even my kids. Like, when I told my kids that I got the first shot of the vaccine, my kids, like, cheered. Like, yay! Yay! But I got grown-ass adults telling me they don't want to put it in their body because they don't know what's in it. Well, guess what? You don't know what's in your food either, because most of the stuff isn't listed.
Yeah. It's insane. It's absolutely batshit crazy for me to try and comprehend people who don't want to get this vaccine. It is such a deadly virus. So deadly, and it's killed so many people. Just get the vaccine.
Right.
That's all you need to do to save people's lives. Because if you get sick and if you're wandering around spreading it to all these people, it's like, just imagine how many are going to die because of your negligence. Like, it's like, it really does seem just, it's like insanity. As Dr. Fauci even said, it's actually, it feels like there are many people who are insane, and he feels bad for these people because they live in ignorance.
Truly. I work in the mental health field. It is, there years from now, this time frame in America is going to be studied, and they're going to come up with some sort of mental health diagnosis for people that are just completely obstinately intentionally ignorant to this stuff, because there's got to be something, because it's affecting too many people. And oh, it's fake news this, or people were following the former presidents, or but guess what, you still have to use your brain to think. If you can't look at the last 4 years and go, wow, we survived something awful.
Yep.
And you can even look at the last 4 years and say, well, this part was good. There is something inherently wrong with the way you think, because it was good for some, it was not good for all, and the some did not help the all at all.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And if you can look at the stuff that was going on in Portland, and try to compare the Black Lives Matter movement, compare that to the January 6th insurrection, and you try to say that those are the same things, you need to have a reality check, because you're probably in either getting your news from a very unreliable source, Facebook, or you just need to sit down and have a conversation with somebody who has different views than you, because you're hitting a sounding wall where what you're saying is just being bounced back to you, and it's getting more and more intense. Yeah. Because the people you're hanging out with are just keeping things back and forth, saying the same stuff back and forth. And I'll admit, my dad is a Trump supporter, and when I went to his house, because he has a lot of things. When I went to his house when I was going to take my kids fishing over the summer, to go pick up fishing rods, and I saw the Trump flag hanging off his house, I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing? First off, you're on a fixed income. Second of all, stop donating money to the man who's only going to use it to pay for his own businesses."
Yep.
And it was hard. And I, he's not the only one. I have, military friends that are the same way, that are, and I tried to talk to him, and I'm like, and they're like, well, and once the whole, the election was stolen, I had a conversation about that, and I said, why do you think this? Well, you can't tell me that there weren't dead people voting. I said, they have found zero people who voted while dead. And they're like, well, but what about the people who voted twice? I said, you know what? I said, you know how many, this is countrywide. 12.
Yep.
12. And you know who all those people double voted for? Not Joe Biden. The 12 people that double voted were Republican. And I do think that there are points on both sides of the aisle that are good. I think there are points on both sides of the aisle that are bad. I am actually relatively pro-gun. Being a military man, it's kind of a given. I like firearms. But I also see the definite understanding for needing stricter regulations when it comes to who should own firearms.
Definitely agree.
That's a back and forth conversation, but man, there's going to be a time where somebody is going to look at America in 2020, and they need to figure out what happened, because 2020 was probably the most drastic change that you were able to see in a country in less than a few months.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
100% agree. It's just the whole year. It's really hard to actually think about the entire year, because the entire year was it was a roller coaster the entire time.
The entire year took a decade.
It really did. And it even feels longer than that in certain cases too. It's just like going to Portland too, like nearly in the middle of these protests because Idaho had something going on up there, and walking to that courthouse, seeing that for myself, it is just it's wild to me because I watched that on live streams. I was watching the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it's just something else, truly. It really is something else. It's like going from that to remember the cruise ship back that was stuck in Japan?
Oh my God. That was...
It feels like...
I'm pretty sure that was sometime in the 90s. Like... The 1890s, I think that happened.
God, it's so crazy to think about. Just knowing that was actually a thing. That was when it was like truly ramping up. Like knowing that there was all these people stranded on a cruise ship because of COVID.
Right. So, I want to say we're probably talking maybe a month from now, last year. So probably mid-March. I'm trying to think if my wife, if it was after her birthday or if it was, I think it was before her birthday. That's when things started getting kind of really bad in Ohio. Like Ohio we kind of led the way on the lockdown. Everybody, Mike DeWine was like the big hero of the country. Everybody would wine with DeWine. We would all get, sit around with our wine. Not me. I don't drink wine, but we would wine with DeWine. And then right after that, there was Dr. Is it Amy? I think it's Dr. Amy Acton was on right after, and she would give updates and stuff like that. And then we had so it was wine with DeWine and snacking with Acton. Like literally, this was in newspapers. This is how they listed. Like you could Google wine with DeWine and you could watch his press conferences. And so Ohio was like they led the way on lockdown. They saw what happened in New York, and saw how bad and how quick it got in New York, and realized that Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati were kind of leading that way. So they knew that they needed to take the action out, and it was great. I completely supported it. But right as stuff started getting locked down, my wife and kids moved to Wisconsin for a few months. I was here in Ohio because I needed to work. By myself for 3 months. I got a dog. I got 2 cats. These guys would not be living here if it was not for COVID-19. But this was things that we, these were things that we had to deal with. And my kids were out of school. For months. I mean, they basically went back to school just to finish out the school year right at the end of the school year. And they just were in Wisconsin and they finished it all there. It's a very scary time and very lonely time for a lot of people. That's when my mom started getting really sick. She was wanted to be in the hospital for 39 days by herself without a visitor. We called and FaceTime, but that only does so much. I had a newborn. The baby was born January 2020. By March 2020, she was in Wisconsin, and I didn't see her until June.
Wow. Yeah.
You want to talk about it? That's a lot of growing up in 3 months. The babies grow pretty big in 3 months, and I missed I missed that. So I understand there was a sacrifice, and this is all. And this isn't my boohoo story. This is all coming to the point of the science and doctors and what is a doctor that specializes in diseases?
Virologist?
Virologist, or there's another one that starts with an E. I can't think of what it's called right now.
Epidemiologist?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
They all say that this is a trial run for the virus world. This was the what can we do? And you know what? That's scary because there's a good chance in our lifetime again that the bigger one's coming because we didn't do what we were supposed to do. The nation's currently sitting. I'm gonna look it up while I talk, but I'm pretty sure last I checked the current vaccination rate in America. Nation rates in America is it's of course not going to tell me the right number that I want to see. How many people anyways, it's 11 point, so currently 11.5% of the US population has been vaccinated. But I think I think they said last I heard, and this has maybe been about a week ago, so it might be drastically different now. It was like roughly 42 to 45% of the population that has been offered has accepted. That's so low.
Wow.
We need to hit, as per Dr. Fauci's own words, we need to hit 80 or 70, between 75 and 85% of the population needs to be vaccinated so that we can return to normal. Like everybody wants to just return to normal. You can't get it unless people, and then you're going to have, people aren't going to do it. So.
That's literally all they have to do. If you just want to return to normal, well, get vaccinated. That's literally it.
Right.
All you have to do. And it's sad because there are experts saying that, people are going to be wearing masks for the foreseeable future because of that.
I, honest to God, I'm vaccinated.
Yeah.
I cannot, honest to God, tell you when I will be comfortable not wearing a mask in a public place. I got my haircut today, and it was me, my barber, another barber, and another guy getting his haircut, and we were all spread out. And I had my mask off because I'm getting my haircut, so it's not like you can, clip the back of my head with a strap around the back of it.
Yeah.
And I was very uncomfortable. And as soon as I got done, and as soon as he said, "Okay, you look good," I put my mask right back on. And then he held his hand out to shake it. Now I watched him wash his hands, and I shook his hand, and I said, "I want to let you know that's the first time I have shaken somebody's hand in probably about a year." And that's sad, and it's scary, but I don't see it changing anytime soon, especially not, like I said, not because my kids and my wife aren't vaccinated. Just because I'm not going to get the symptoms doesn't mean I'm not going to be a carrier for it.
Exactly.
That's just how this vaccine works. But
yeah.
All right. Somehow we got on a depressing topic. Shocker.
Well, I mean, there are certain things that it's good to talk about these things. It's good to spread awareness because there are those of us that really do want to see everything return to normal. There are many of us that really want to see things return to normal, and it's sad because we can't see that until these people do what they need to do.
Right.
When they're offered it, they have the option, they have the opportunity, and they're just throwing it away because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to put a foreign substance in my body. Here, let me go ahead and grab another drink for you, buddy."
Right. Exactly. And
it's like.
And the sad thing is like I said that some of these people that I've been talking to have been walking back there, like, "Oh, all right, I think maybe I do want to get vaccinated." Well, guess what? Now, our county's not offering it to you because they have to move on to the next agency. So now you're in the same boat as everybody else who's sitting around waiting, but you're still just as exposed as us who have been vaccinated,
Yeah.
So, and that's going to give people a false, it's just going to give them another level of anxiety that they didn't need to have.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. It really is, and it's without old saying, the truth hurts. You just have to.
You have to deal with
you
it.
have to just do. Yeah.
And it's and like I said, it sucks, and I feel bad for him, but I don't feel too bad for him because the decision was made. Was it a hasty decision on their part? Probably. But with a little bit of research, you can find out a lot of things, and honestly, you could find out your stance can be. You can research your stance and get the exact answer you want every single time. So that's why you need to look at it from multiple angles. I did a lot of research when I was in college. A lot of research. So much research. So much. Oh, God. So many hours just reading articles that I don't even want to think about.
Yep.
But I always took my hypothesis, and you have to always learn that you have to take it from every angle because you can find the answer you want to find. And what I mean by that is, let's say I said the sky is red. Everybody knows it's blue.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I could find some sort of article that says technically because of the wavelength and the sun coming through, that technically the sky is actually a reddish hue, but because our eyesight only takes in so many different variation colors that the sky looks blue to us.
Don't forget the conspiracy theory. Don't forget the conspiracy theories that mention, remember
and 9/11,
San Francisco?
And I get it all, but there was, I could probably find some sort of scientific-like article that would back me up. I'm not saying it's 100% true. I'm just saying that there could be. I bet you I could find something. So that's why it's like, okay, now I go and I find, and this is the craziest thing I think I've ever said in the world. Wikipedia is not a bad source. Wikipedia is a publicly sourced bit of information, but they have citations. And here's was my favorite thing to do in college was to go to the bottom of the Wikipedia page on whatever I was looking up and seeing what they were using as their sources, and then use those sources as my sources. Because they've done the work for me. I just have to go find where it was in the book, or where it was in the journal article, or where it was in the scientific whatever,
Exactly.
That's
what I did.
I'm going to have to tell Potato. I'm going to tell Potato, when you go to college and they say Wikipedia is not a good source, true. So Wikipedia in itself can be changed at a whim. You can technically change a Wikipedia article to say whatever you want it to say, take a screenshot of it, and then Wikipedia will go back and fix it. But scroll to the bottom, Potato, and there's a ton of information right there at the bottom.
I always love that argument when professors were like, oh yeah, you can't go to Wikipedia, you can't use this as a source. Well, no, you can't use that as a source, but you can use the source of the Wikipedia articles.
Exactly.
I mean, as long as they have good material inside of those sources.
Right.
Well, it looks like I'm going to be looking through those and figuring out which one's true and which one's false, peer reviewed.
and the reason I brought that up is because it's good to look at things from every angle, because there's a little bit of truth into everything. But if you don't look into it and you don't read and you don't study and you don't understand what's going on, you're living in intentional ignorance. You're living in your own world, and of course at that point and somebody says something that blows your mind or doesn't agree with you, of course you're not going to you're going to have an outrage, or you're going to get angry, or you're going to have some sort of emotional reaction. But if you take a minute, look up this stuff, look up what they're talking about, and you might be able to prove yourself right and prove them wrong, and then you guys can sit down and have a conversation about that. And and I that's how I look at it. Like I if you stop learning, then why are you here? Like, never stop learning.
Exactly.
Like, every day you need to learn. The old adage, learn something new every day. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to learn how to fly an airplane every day, but that means you can learn that that the sky is technically red due to the color hue of the sun coming through at this angle, while your eyes can only see. You never know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write this paper. I'm gonna get it peer reviewed. I'm gonna get laughed out of the peer review, but I'm still gonna say that it's a scientific paper.
Yeah. Yeah, you could totally do that too. In this world, you can honestly say whatever you want and then go, yep, all right, I believe that.
Yes.
And then, yep, all these other people believe it, so it must be true.
And everybody, stop getting your information from Facebook, folks. There is nothing on Facebook that's true.
I laugh, but it's because of sad. Just it is.
The people who raised me always told me that you couldn't trust the stuff that you read on the internet. Those same people that raised me, that taught me to not trust the internet, now trust the internet too much. I don't understand.
I don't think many of us really can understand that. It's just, it's insanity in so many cases. It really is. It's absolute insanity. And it comes back to what I was saying earlier. Truly, it feels like I really don't know how to put it into words. I mean, how do you put it into words at that point when you have so many facts laid out before you, so much happening, like right now, that's right in front of your face, that no one can dispute.
Yeah, and yet they're disputing it. And they're disputing it with conspiracy theories instead of facts.
Yep, every time.
That one conspiracy theory website that I'm not even gonna mention because it's complete BS is somehow driven into these people's brains. It's corrupted a whole. I mean, listen, the political parties in themselves are corrupt in their own ways, but it has further corrupted one of the political parties to an extreme that there's people in that party who are not falling for the bull, are thinking about splitting and making a third political party in this country. Now, I'm all for it because I don't think there should only be a two-party system.
Yeah.
I think that we should vote on a sliding scale. I think we should have something similar to where if this politician gets this many votes, then that politician has that much carrying weight in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like if the Green Party candidate gets 12%, when the voting happens, they're worth 12% of their vote. Because it makes sense, because that means that there's 12% of the country, or 12% of whatever they were voting for. Whoever was voting, 12% of them wanted that person. And now those people are not being represented.
Yeah, by anyone. Like, there's no representation.
So the two-party political system has been bull for a very long time. No, but I mean, the founders, they always talk about, the founders this, the founders wanted this. The founders didn't want a two-party system. The founders wanted to have it a big, open, sliding scale system. And yet, what do we have? A two-party system that's clearly corrupt on both sides of the aisle. Both sides have their fingers in the pie that they're trying to.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting paid off for one way or another. And yet, but now there's even further. There's insanity to it. They're calling them the instead of the GOP, they're calling them the GQP, because that's the insanity that's been leaked into their brains. And
it's hard to imagine, really. It is. It's actually hard to imagine, because it's just like, how did it go? How did it get to this point within 4 years?
How did it go to this point in less than a year?
Yeah, exactly, less than a year. Like, what am I saying? 4 years? Like, no, it's a year.
God. Yes, this is the. Do you remember January of 2020? It was something new every month. Do you remember that for a minute?
Yeah.
What was January? We were starting World War III.
Yep.
And then murder hornets were a thing for a minute. They're coming back. Apparently, they're back again. So you gotta watch out for your murder hornets. And then by March it was like, okay, COVID. And everybody's like, oh, okay, the pandemic. Now what's going to be the next thing for April? And then COVID stuck around. And then it was like, okay, so COVID got March and April. What's in May? Like, expecting the next big thing, but then COVID wound up being the biggest thing. And we got political parties that are, it's absolute insanity.
Don't forget to inject bleach.
Oh my God!
By the way, anyone listening, don't do that, please.
Can we just use a bright light? Remember how can we just have the blue light? How about that? Does that work?
I'm very blue right now.
You are pretty blue right now. And then we had and then what was another one? Oh, they were having a meeting, and it was being recorded, and the former president asked if they could just use a flu vaccine. Do they think the flu vaccine would work? And they're like, no, sir. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think it would either. I just figured I'd ask. And you're like...
it's just...
And I'm not just trying... This isn't the take a dump on the political system hour today.
Oh yeah, no, it's really not.
This is just stuff that's been, rattling around in the brain for the last couple weeks while we had special guests that made this entertaining. Yeah. So this week you get Trad sitting here bitching about the political system. And
I mean, you and I both, like, really, it's the truth. Like, there's the reason why I'm so quiet in a lot of this is because I'm like, there's so much in my mind, so much about all this. It's so overwhelming that I can't actually bring it forward, because it's like my ADHD is going through all these topics just simultaneously over what has happened in the past year, that it is mind-blowing. It's just so hard to comprehend point by point by point, because it's just all of that actually happened. It happened.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The fact that we, first off, the fact that a sitting president tried to incite an insurrection and got impeached and then got acquitted in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Just shows you why a two-party political system will never work. It should not be in place. Is not working. It hasn't been working for a long time, but we've been keeping it afloat by, for 8 years we have one side rule, for 8 years we have the other side rule, and then every couple years they switch off the little the Senate and the House, and that's the only thing that we have. And somehow we have not hit this problem yet, but now it's hitting us hard, and it's going to continue hitting us hard because there's a clear. It's the vote on Saturday that acquitted the former president of the fact that he can now technically run in 2024, and he can run and hold office, a political office, ever again, is absolutely asinine, and it's absolutely terrifying, because there's still so many people that are drinking the Kool-Aid, for lack of a better terminology, right now.
Yeah,
because it is very much like a I don't want to say cult. It's a mass hysteria, really. What it is.
It is. It is like, I really hope the people who voted today for Biden remember that too, because if we give any leeway at this point, and if he runs in 2024, we can't let that happen.
Right.
Not again.
And then you've got senators going on TV, and now they're bickering and fighting with each other, and they're talking about how this side is part of was part of the insurrection, and how they spread the fake news. Again, we're gonna use terms here, but fake news for so long, that they should be tried too. And then the other side saying, well, what did they know before the thing, and blah blah blah. And honestly, now we're just looking like it's petty children picking at each other.
Yeah, it is.
They're trying to. America is a great country. I would not have fought for this country if I did not believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is not the country I fought for. I served 2003, 2008. By 2012, the country had started sliding. And then in 2016, we took a reality TV star, jackass is more my terminology I like to think about, and we made him the president of the United States. And then for 4 years, he made America the laughingstock on the world scene. Like, there were countries, allies for hundreds of years, that stopped talking to us until Joe Biden got in office. Now,
I remember that too. Yeah, it's insane.
And now
I keep saying that word. It's like the word of the night.
There's no other word. It is literal insanity. And now, do I think Joe Biden is the end-all be-all? Do I think he's the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees? Let's use some of his terminology. He's old enough. No, I don't. I think Joe Biden is more conservative than somebody who I think this country needs right now. We need a progressive president. We, honest to God, and I'm going to say it, people can hate me, that's fine. I voted for Bernie, nonstop. Bernie. I felt the burn. I was all about feeling the burn. Everybody's like, no, he can't run. He's too old. And then we've elected 2 presidents that were older than him. So I don't want to hear their bullshit anymore. Because we need somebody to step in like that to help the low income, the middle class, and even some of the upper middle class people need help. And the people we keep electing into office just keep putting more and more tax breaks on the ultra rich, and more taxes on the everyday people, the people that can't afford to buy a yacht, crash a yacht, buy a new yacht,
Yeah.
My kids break a toy, and I'm sitting here with super glue and duct tape trying to put it back together because I know I can't afford another one of those toys tomorrow.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Exactly. It's just, I don't know.
We needed to feel the burn.
We really did. We really did.
I love that dude. Listen, he's the only one that shows up to an inauguration of a president in the same jacket that he wore when he was going house to house asking for money, wearing some handmade mittens.
Mm-hmm.
And going,
oh,
and
yeah.
he even said, "Well, if I would have had my hat, I would have had my hat on too, but I didn't think it was quite cold enough for my hat." I was like, "Jesus, Bernie Sanders." So.
He really is though. I mean, hey, if he actually runs, if he gets voted as the as a candidate, I will probably. I can't imagine though, because it's like if we split the vote too.
Yeah. I know.
That's a big problem.
I love the dude. Like, I'm glad that he's in the position that he's in now, on the Senate Financial Board. If there's ever a place that you needed to put Bernie Sanders, it's in charge of the money.
Yeah,
because he's not gonna
absolutely.
He's not gonna do the. I don't think he legitimately cares. If somebody were to offer him $1 million to try to add something into a tax bill, I don't think Bernie would even acknowledge that $1 million. Like, he'd be like, "I'm gonna just give it away to anybody else. So why don't we just leave it out and then they can have it anyways?" Like,
yeah,
But all right, so let's talk about something fun.
I was gonna say, God, man, I am running out of steam tonight.
I could talk for hours about politics. So if we're gonna make this a politic podcast, the politics episode, I got more. I mean, we got to have some entertainment here tonight. Something fun.
Oh yeah, totally. Something fun, definitely. Before we end, because. Again, I'm running low on steam tonight.
I am, like I said, I'm wore out from this vaccine. So
honestly, it's totally fine too, because like we had some very serious topics as well. We went over some very serious stuff.
We're gonna end on feel the burn, huh? We're just gonna.
Hey, that's a pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that. I don't mind. But seriously though, you've got the vaccine. It's probably wearing you out. It wore Mike out so quick.
I'm pooped. It's already it's doing the so I don't want to scare people off of the getting it because my reactions are probably the extreme. My immune system's very compromised. That's why I have not really left my house since March of 2020. But so my immune system's like really, really beat down from multiple reasons. So like my stuff is extreme, but some of the fun side effects that I've had, like I said, this morning I woke up with a headache, which I was able to get rid of with some caffeine and some water. So I actually that didn't really stick around. I felt nauseous, but I had Canada Dry has a Canada Dry ginger ale 0 sugar. I'm a diabetic. I love everything that has 0 sugar in it. And ginger ale is top on my list of things that there you go. See, I love ginger ale, which is an old man drink. So yes, I'm old. So I had a ginger ale first thing this morning, and it settled my stomach, and I feel fine there. Probably the worst right now is your bones hurt. So like
that is the worst. Yeah,
I already have arthritis in my hands and my back and my hips and my knees. I like to say my head, shoulders, knees, and toes are pretty much screwed already. So that's probably maybe over the last couple hours that I've kind of really realized that that's what I was starting to feel, was that like I feel achy, everything kind of feels heavy. So hopefully it won't be absolutely awful tomorrow, because I have meetings at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh no.
we had the snowstorm in Ohio that was not nearly as bad as they expected it to be. My area was supposed to get 8 inches overnight.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We got like 4, which is not bad. Like that's
yeah. Speaking of which, continue. Like I'm totally listening. I'm like just checking the weather on my area because I'm like, what? My area's looking like.
So, but my work got delayed 2 hours this morning because they wanted to give people extra time to get into work because of the roads or whatever. It was legitimately still snowing this morning, and it started snowing at 5 o'clock yesterday, and it was snowing pretty hard. So I had 2 meetings this morning that got delayed, which was probably good because, like I said, I felt like hot garbage. I was able to perk myself up enough and get through the day, but tomorrow might be a rough one. But so don't stress. Everybody will be fine. If you get the vaccine, you'll be fine. Do you know how many? This is another question because everybody's worried about what if I'm allergic. How many cases did Pfizer have out of all of the current people that have taken the vaccine? How many cases of anaphylactic or some other allergic reaction that they have so far?
There were so few that I don't even I count 0 92. In my head.
They had 92 so far out of everybody who's gotten the Pfizer vaccine. Do you know how many Moderna has had?
Very few.
12.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I was thinking about Moderna.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
Because Moderna's the one that my mother...
And they have given out millions of and this is because this is worldwide. Yep. This isn't just in the U.S. Worldwide. Millions and millions of these vaccines. And there is less than a half of a... It's like... It's less than 0.001% of the population. So those of you who are also worried about, I might be allergic. You're not. You'll be fine. We'll be good.
Yeah.
They make you sit in the parking lot. So you're getting your vaccine in your car. It's literally a drive up. You drive up, you show them your ID, they verify that you have your appointment. I'm touching my stuff. Verifying that you have your appointment. You drive up, they verify that you are who you say you are. You go like this. They go funk. And they say, "Okay, please pull into the parking lot for 15 minutes. If you have any problems, beep your horn." And they had people roving around the parking lot while you were sitting there for 15 minutes. I watched a half of an episode of Grimm. And got paid for it because my work paid me to go do it.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So, and nobody, the whole time I was there, nobody had to beep their horn. So, but it really isn't as scary as people try to make it out to be. Do you feel like garbage? Sure. But it's no worse than, I would say probably a moderate flu.
Yeah, when I got my flu vaccine, it was just like a mild 100, degree, but it did not feel bad. I'm pretty sure that's exactly, it's going to be worse, of course,
right?
Yeah, than in that, but it's not. In the end, it is worth it. No matter what you think, no matter what you say, it's worth it. Just do it. Just seriously, just think about that, or think about Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Yeah, do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
I thought we were going Nike logo. Nike. We love Nike, not a sponsor. Please be our sponsor.
But yeah, I think just do it is a good point. We can
just do it.
We can end on.
There's no reason not to. It's not a Bill Gates tracking device. Stop it. If you really are worried about Bill Gates having a tracking device or anybody having a tracking device, just please hold up your cell phone because they've already got you tracked. Please
let me go ahead
sit there and watch please sit there and watch our podcast because they're tracking you already. You have a computer, they already know where you are. What the hell? What worry about? You keep it on you anyways. Stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop it. Knock it off.
All right, we're at the exactly 1 hour mark.
Great.
Done it.
Podcast over. Love you guys. Have a great night. We will see you next week where hopefully we have a special guest that we can talk for 2 hours instead of one.